Aloha mai kako,
Hey,
and
aloha.
welcome to another East-West Center virtual program. Thank you all for joining us today, Sunday afternoon here in Hawai'i, and at the East-West Center where we're streaming from. So glad to welcome you to this virtual exhibition opening of Beyond the Surface. And just want to recognize that our team, um, myself, Eric Chang, Arts Program Coordinator, Dr. Annie Reynolds, Curator of the East West Center Gallery, Navahine Okalai Lanzalati, our Arts Assistant and Outreach Coordinator, and Marina George, our Arts Assistant. We are able to do this work by standing on the shoulder of giants, those who came before us at the East West Center, those who built the arts program and the East West Center Gallery, people of the past like Dick Vaya, the great Benji Bennington, and our recent mentors and friends, Bill Feltz and Dr. Michael Schuster in particular, and of course, all of the staff, administration, management who has supported the center's arts program over its 60 going on 61-year history. We're so grateful to be a part of this place and its history, and part of its story here in Hawaii. And we're so grateful for the connections that we've been able to make recently as we've done the work exploring the permanent collection, gifts of artwork over the center's 60-year history, from artists, from diplomats, from visiting dignitaries, students, scholars. Incredible that almost all the artwork, if not all the artwork here in the permanent collection were gifts. It says a lot about the center's mission and the connections it has made. And beyond the surface of these artworks, we've been able to connect and reconnect with new artists and with established artists who have had experiences at the East West Center earlier in their careers. It's been a great opportunity for us to explore the center's own history and those global connections that are part of it. As we begin, I would like to welcome Dr. Lalimia Irvine to bless the gallery space and the new collection exhibited, in addition to recognizing the coming of this new year and the rebirth that we're all working toward experiencing through this pandemic period. So please, Lalimia Irvine will offer an Aulii to us now. Thank you very much.
Aloha kako, aloha kau. Keep in mind. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha and welcome. This last chant that I presented to you is a welcoming chant that I wrote for the East West Center in 2018 for a CD that us East West Center students at the time wrote about immigration. And I didn't immigrate to the United States because I'm in my homeland and this is my country of Hawaii. And so I decided to contribute to write this Meleanna, a chant of welcoming to the world. And I gifted this to the East West Center, and it talks about, it's 3 verses. There's more because I keep adding on, but I present to you the 3 original verses for here. And the first verse just invites everyone from wherever they come from the rising of the sun in the east to the setting of the sun of the west, to all the 4 corners of the earth. You're welcomed here. And then we move to the Hawaiian Islands, and I speak about the beautiful Ka'ala Mountain, our highest peak on this island that East West Center um, is situated on, and speaks about the beautiful flowers and everything that's around us, that there is a native people to this place. And lastly, we turn to Manoa, and I speak of Manoa and the Uatuahine and the beautiful rainbow of Kahaleopuna. And this is where we listen to the voices of the kuhuli shells, that we still have our endangered species. And they say to you, when you come to this place, you're welcome, but don't forget to always seek the well-being for this country, Hawaii. E kipa mai, he mai, aloha kaua.
Wow.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Lalimia. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much for that beautiful offering. The East West Center is so blessed to have connections with an incredible diversity of exceptional individuals, scholars, people working in so many different fields, artists, and we're lucky to know so many of them and to have continued deeper connections with so many. And just to share a little bit more about Lalimia, Dr. Lalimia Irvine is assistant professor of physics in the mathematics, natural, and health sciences division at the University of Hawaii at West Oahu. He was an East West Center student from 2013 to 2019, a graduate degree fellow at the East West Center, as well as recipient of many other scholarship awards during that time. I was lucky to know Lalimia back when he was a student. And even then, when we weren't so familiar with each other, I remember I would have visiting artists, different events where Lalimia would show up. And I remember one time he offered to host everyone in his room for Ava, and was always just so generous with sharing his spirit, Hawaiian culture with everybody around him, and clearly continues to do so. And we were just talking just now, and I asked him, "Oh, so you're at you're part of the physics department then at West Oahu?" And he said he's actually the first physics hire as faculty. So currently he is the physics department. So congratulations to Lalimia, and wish you all the best, and looking forward to continued connections with you. So it's my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Annie Reynolds, curator of the East West Center Gallery and designer of this current exhibition that we will share with you virtually today and ongoing. Every couple Sunday afternoons, we'll highlight different artworks and different artists who are connected to the exhibition. So we look forward to that, and just want to thank and congratulate Annie on all her incredible work over these past several months, as we first thought of what we should do, expecting the gallery to remain closed, and then what we could do after we identified, a great project that benefits both the center, our own knowledge, and helps share the mo'olelo of the East West Center and its connected artists to a worldwide audience. So it's my pleasure to now introduce Annie Reynolds. Take it away, Annie.
Aloha. Thank you, Eric. I'm so happy to be here with everybody this afternoon and really thrilled to be sharing this very special to me exhibition and I think special to the East West Center as well. We wanted to share images from the gallery so you could get a sense of the space, because I think an image on the screen just, there's no way to really capture what it feels like being in that space. And I think this period of time has reminded us of that and reminded us of appreciating all of the in-person things we're missing, and we're doing our best that we can in the meantime. But it's really a renewed appreciation for live gallery experiences, live performance experiences, and we will definitely be getting back to that again. This exhibition is called Beyond the Surface. And the reason we've called it Beyond the Surface is that's referring to, we have these beautiful, these incredible artworks that are all part of the East West Center permanent collection. Our permanent collection has been gifted to us over the years, the 61 years of the East West Center, the East West Center's history. And we have over 500 works in our collection. Of those works, many of them that were gifted directly from artists, that's artists in residence, visiting artists that were here as part of an exhibition, East West Center students who are fulfilling their degrees. And so we started to consider the permanent collection from kind of that perspective and started to select based on that. And really, it's incredible to see what a diverse range. So in this gallery, we have a set of really special works that really represent the region in terms of the varied nations that the artists are from, as well as the incredible different techniques, the different colors that we see, from the traditional to the contemporary. But then as we start to look at the works, and what I've really been focusing on is seeing what connects those works. And in the Beyond the Surface, we're talking about the artists behind the works and the stories that connect to the East West Center. So there's diversity, but at the same time, there's such a connection across this really unique set of the collection. So it's about 28 works that you were able to see. And I hope you were somehow, even though you're not able to join me here in the gallery, we're able to get a sense of space. And a big mahalo also to Lalimia for sharing that very special Aulii with us and breathing life into the gallery for us. So mahalo. Just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, I'm going to share my screen here into what is here in the gallery with me. We have some works, and maybe for many of you who are affiliated with the East West Center, who are familiar with the works, you may see some old friends here. But this work is a very traditional Balinese work by artist Inyoman Lasug, his village scene. He was an artist in residence here as part of an exhibition called Art in Bali, and that was in 1988. And again, also just to say, this exhibition, one of the reasons that we're so thrilled to share this is because it really is honoring those who have come before us, as Eric mentioned, Bill Feltz, Michael Schuster, and of course Benji Bennington, because without Benji, this gallery wouldn't exist. So really just wanting to honor that history here. So we see this very traditional work, and this was created here at the East West Center when he was in residence in 1988. And what's special about it is that if you, upon looking at it, you would just think, oh, it's a traditional Balinese painting. But in a very subtle way, he included a Hawaiian bird in there to honor his time here. So it is very place and location specific in that special way. And another one that is probably a very familiar face here is the work of Rupert Garcia from 1987 when he was an artist in residence. And he's most well known for his sociopolitical works. And so really incredibly special for us to have his work, King Kamehameha, as part of our collection. So those are a few very well-known examples, perhaps if you're familiar with our collection. Perhaps a less well-known work is a kind of recent find for me. Is this work is a very large painting, as you may have seen earlier. It's 7 feet wide, and I hadn't known this work until I started looking more into the history. But this is by an artist from Palau named Sam Adelbai. And as you can see, if you're familiar with storyboards from Palau, you can see on in that bordering the influence from the traditional storyboards. And you also see the traditional story. There's a traditional mythology being shown. But he has this very own creative way of expressing that and telling that story in these incredible colors. He loves to work with such an incredible color palette. And we've reconnected with Sam, and he's such an incredible artist who is back living in Palau. After East West Center in the 80s, he continued on to do his work at Cal Arts. He did his graduate work at Cal Arts. So a very versatile artist. Went back to Palau, and he's very committed to educating younger children through arts education, which is really wonderful to see. So he shared some of his more recent work with us, including these incredible dynamic works. And you can see how he works with this color, and it's just so much fun. It just pops right off the paper. But at the same time, he has this incredible skill of realism. And these are paintings in Palau. So really thrilled to share his current works with you, and we'll be sharing more through a Spotlight program, as well as our feature stories that we'll be sharing. And we've loved to reconnect with him. I was honored to be on his first Zoom program, or first Zoom meeting with him. So a lot of fun, really incredible, dynamic artist, and looking forward to sharing more about him. Another painting that you might be familiar with, if you're familiar with our works, is The Beautiful Elephants by Mohammed Yassin. And Yassin was here in the 1980s, an incredible artist from India. And in trying to reconnect with him, we found that he had recently passed just in August of 2020. And in looking to reach out to him, we were able to meet and connect with his documentarian, who you see in the photograph here with him, the younger man. And he has been working with Yassin, Mr. Usad, and he has been working with him for probably about the last decade, and knew well of the East West Center. And Yassin had often spoken about his experience here at East West Center. And so it's really incredible to hear these stories and reconnect with artists and people who are connected to the center. And in kind of doing more research with the East West Center permanent collection, I always knew the elephants, but I didn't know we had other collections and other paintings by Yassin. And he had so generously gifted 5 works that are now in our collection. And I'm sharing 2 with you here, and you see the 2 faces. And if you look very closely, we see the painting, the beautiful painting, but we also see the beautiful ink work. These are 9 years apart. 1975 on the ink work and 1984 on the painting. And what I love to see here is that continuity. You can see these 2 beautiful faces, but you also see the 2 beautiful faces in the ink work if you look closely up towards the top. And so I loved finding that connection. And what I learned from his documentarian is that those 2 faces represent loyalty and represent Yassin and his wife, and they lived loyally and in love till the end of his life together. So I thought that was just so beautiful and wanted to share that with you. So part of this project goes also beyond just this exhibition. And so we're also looking at activating the permanent collection and how we can activate the permanent collection. We have a wonderful our East West Center Ohana who are here with us to share how we're working with them and how we are working together to activate the permanent collection and our work together. So I'm going to first begin by welcoming Meleanna Meyer, who is so special to us, so special to have you here with us. We're working on a number of projects together. And I've asked Meleanna to share with you. She was East West Center alum, very important artist, activist, educator, visual artist, incredible visual artist. So wonderful to have you here with us today, Meleanna. And Meleanna In looking into the history, this gallery opened in 1995. And in 1995, that would have been right in March last year, we would have been celebrating our 25th anniversary of the gallery here. And instead, we were all going to telework and going into lockdown. But in looking back at that 25-year anniversary, Meleanna Meyer actually, was a few years after she had finished her graduate work here, she curated the first exhibition in this gallery space, and it was an exhibition called Recent Works of John Young. So we have 2 works that are here in the gallery to honor that history, and we also have 2 beautiful works by Meleanna Meyer that are part of this exhibition. So Meleanna, if you would say a few words, please. Aloha, welcome. There you go. There you are.
There we go. Aloha mai kākou. It is a privilege to be here with you all. Am I unmuted? I guess I am, right? Okay.
You're perfect. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Super. What I wanted to share is my gratitude to and delight to this, not only the center, but what makes any place extraordinary and precious are the people at the East West Center, particularly Annie and Eric and those of the team, so Navahine. So what I'd like you to do, please, is to kind of just give them a hand, because I tell you something, this is a feat of great effort and brilliance to pull all of this off. So let me just share that the East West Center for me was a really important place of refuge, because Benji and Bill took such good care of me, and I felt I had a purpose. Outside of pursuing my master's degree in education, I was allowed to just be a part of the arts team and conversation, and it really meant the world to me. And I have such deep and fond memories of that time. And Benji, God bless you, Benji, because we talked in the gallery before it opened, before John's show. She was kind enough to allow me to have a little retrospective in the old space, which was like a walkthrough, which was amazing. And you have to know, the center has only become more extraordinary for the invitation that it has offered local artists like John Young, like myself, like my cousin Aulii, because when you invite people from a place, you're not only honoring the place, but the people. And we are so delighted to be included. And in terms of this particular show, the notion of being something beyond the surface for us is something called kauna or meahuna, things that you don't really speak about. So in creative terms, you have to know that what is on the wall in this show, the pieces are spectacular. And you have to come at some point in the next 6 months to experience that they're all talking to each other, because the leo, or the voice that we give to our work, our visual work, as artists, is really critical, whether it's through color, line, texture, form, composition, all of those things. And the extraordinary mix of contemporary with kahiko, awana with traditional, is amazing. And I also wanted to thank Lalimia, because you have to know that what's on the walls, what has been offered in this show, we call them ho'okupu, which it means things that are created and given and offered. So it's not like going to the store and just buying a present. When something is created for a place, for a people, for a community, that's the highest form of aloha that we can give. So it's really a privilege for me to have gone through the center and have had their support and to be connected, because what we're all striving for at this point too is to understand legacy and the notion of continuity. And you'll see it in the work in this show. I was really deeply moved by not only the title, but the opportunity for all these different diverse works to talk to each other, because that's actually what they do. So I want to just say that the pieces that I've offered are contemplations, and they are deep for me in terms of almost cries, to say, hey, we are here as Hawaiians, pay attention, We have lots to offer. And just to know that I actually had a place at the East West Center, knowing Benji so well and Bill, and being able to be there in the 80s and early 90s, it was such a thrill. We really did have an amazing time. And I just want to say to Annie and Eric in particular, and Navahini, that the project that we are doing as an outreach that is connected to the show is a great delight for me, because we've worked hard to put something together, to create connections, to revision things, to bring folks from outside who are connected to the East West Center in some capacity over the next couple months. So, thank you all, because it is this notion of reciprocity that's really important for us. It's not like you just sort of cooperate with people, but you actually exchange in the sense of ike, of knowledge, of insight. And in that reciprocity, that's how we learn about each other. And in this day and age, I think Hawaii has a great place to play in this conversation for healing, for understanding across cultures, and for really deepening the appreciation that we have for one another culturally. So I just wanted to take that moment and reiterate the things that I've heard Annie and Eric and Lalimia offer, because without each other, we can't be what we need to be in a community like the East West Center. So thank you so much for the privilege of just taking this moment and time to share. And I look forward to more conversations about our work and questions and answers. And I just want to thank all the other artists, because without their generosity, there wouldn't be a collection. So it's a way for us to say, as participants from us to the center, mahalo, 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 mahalo. And that's very important. So thank you for that. Thank you for the opportunity for us to share.
Mahalo, Meleanna. May I please, I'm going to share your two beautiful paintings so everybody can just kind of meditate on those for just a moment.
All right. You don't know this, but there's the Hawaii in the middle, and it's just like this conversation, like, okay, you're calling yourselves East West Center, but you're somewhere, and that's important because you're here in our home. So it was that kind of a conversation that really gave me an opportunity to say, hey, eia mako, we are here in beloved Hawaii, and this is an extraordinary place that has been chosen for this meeting place.
Absolutely. And this is one of our newest works that we've added to our collection. Very generous from Meleanna.
And actually this is called Napiko e Kolu. And in our mana'o, in our thoughts, there are three centers of knowledge, one from the kupuna, Piko from the fontanelle. The second is the umbilicus for the present and what we're connected to. And the third is ma'i, the genital area where the future comes from. And, those are very deep conversational pieces of connection and responsibility, or what we call kuleana. So I'm very happy to share these works and look forward to conversations with other artists. Thank you, Annie.
Aloha. Thank you so much, Meleanna. Wonderful to hear from you, and thank you for setting us off. This is just wonderful.
Yay.
Aloha. Turning to the next pieces, we have a set of three beautiful paintings, again, with the connection to Hawaii. These are three works. They're called Impressions of Hawaii by Mussarrat Nahid Imam, who was here in the 1980s. And she worked too with Bill and Benji, as she was a student here, but she was also especially a student intern with the arts program, which is another special connection to us. And she went on after her time at East West Center to be the director of Pakistan's National Art Gallery. And these three pieces that she created she was inspired by Hawaiian kapa. And so you can see that in the motifs she's made. And then the way that she created that look and that texture on the paper is by actually just taking watercolor paper and crumpling it up. So it's really, I just love these pieces. I think they're so much fun. I thought they were inspiring, and I've been watching Aulii Mitchell, local artist, kumu hula, and cultural anthropologist, who has been doing incredible work during the pandemic with his kapa work. And so, knowing him from past projects, I said, Aulii, take a look at these. Are these inspiring? Is there something that you could share, and we could look and pair some work by you with Musarat's work? And so that sparked off this project, and Aulii took it so much further. So I'd love to now introduce Aulii and have him speak about his current project that we're working on. Aloha, Aulii.
Aloha mai kevelina mai ni ka'akua pau. Greetings to everybody. Aloha awinala. Good afternoon. Yes, I'm Aulii Mitchell, and I just want to say a huge mahalo to Lalimia for his opening and setting the tone for today, and to Annie Reynolds and this great team here at East West Center, and a shout out to Michael Schuster, who is a beloved of mine, who also is connected to the center and connected to me. So I am very greatly humbled to be here among so many skilled and master artists. My work, as Annie has expressed, is inspired by Mussarrat Nahid Imam, a Pakistani artist, and it was her love for Hawaiian kapa that she left impressions of Hawaii, and her use of color led me to research Pakistan's culture. And as I began to research the culture, I became even more inspired by Pakistan's architecture and their busy mosaic patterns of cultural art, as well as their symbolism. So it immediately took me to the busy patterns of Polynesian or Pacific Island bark cloths. So these pieces I present here at this year's gallery exhibition is made of the mediums of traditional Hawaiian kapa or bark cloth, and raw clays, including our clay from Hawaii known as alaya, and the use of the aoki, or the stem of the tea leaf. So can you put those up right now, Annie? Yeah, let's share with you a bit of these tribal connections I found through busy patterns, and how we have so many connections to the people of the Middle East, of Pakistan, of the Muslim world. The first piece I call Lanake Kahili, and it is the floating kahilis, but truly it's the awareness of kahilis. I pulled the colors of Musarat's work into this piece and used watercolor for the background of this piece of kapa. And the floating kahilis are symbols of our great ali'i, the great standards of feathers that stood before and behind the processions of our ali'i, symbolic of our kia'i, of our ancestors, those protecting those who are very special and royal to our people. There's a piece next to it, I call it Canopy. The centipede I found to be an apotropaic creature in mythology in the Muslim world, and how these creatures like the scorpion and the snake have the power to avert evil influences and bad luck, as when we see the centipede inside our house, we say, oh, awe, kapo'ilili, someone jealous of you. So I thought I'd bring that out in the use of the aoki. The piece that looks like rays or spirals is just that. We know in our language as mo'oni. The spirals were also on many of their ancient buildings as well. So this, again, I'm using the lauki or the aoki. The one above it is called mokaika in Hawaiian, which means mosaic. So I try to apply these patterns of the aoki very similar to some of their ancient patterns on their buildings. And the last small one there, I call Ilimo'o, or the scales of the mo'o, and found that in mythology, both the Pakistan culture and Hawaiian culture is great on the dragon and reptile. So I just am so humbled to be part of this relationship with the East-West Center. And most importantly, this is my thank you to Mussarrat Nahid Imam for her impressions of Hawaii. I leave her impressions of Pakistan. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Aulii. It's been so wonderful to work with you again. Mahalo for all the work you're doing and how much you've really invested and dove into this project. It's just so incredibly meaningful and so beautiful sitting here in front of me. So we go from the connections of Pakistan and Hawaii, and now we turn to the connections of Korea and Hawaii with the work of Mary Kim. Hi, Mary, who's actually joining us from Korea now.
Hello.
And hello, Mary. Aloha. We miss you so much. It's so nice to see you again here. So Mary was a recent graduate from UH Manoa and was an East-West Center student. And so she is now East-West Center alum, recent alum, just graduated in May of 2020. And her gift to the East-West Center, two of her beautiful pieces from her thesis project that she did, were the first gifts that I accepted in my new role as curator. So Mary will always share that special connection. It was Mary's work and Mary as a student gifting these works to the East-West Center, which really kind of became which was the original inspiration for this exhibition. So a very special, very generous gift. So Mary, thank you for joining us today. Mary has recently accepted a new position as a new instructor at the National Museum of Korea. So congratulations on that. We're so proud of you. And I would love it if you could share a little bit about your works. I have images here and would love to hear more about your beautiful, beautiful paintings.
Thank you. In Korea, it is really difficult to buy lei, but these days I can get this smiley flower in here. I think this is a new trend, so I just brought this flower doll with me.
It's perfect. We weren't sure we wanted to give you a virtual lei somehow, so it's perfect. Thank you. I'm so glad. Aloha.
Aloha. Okay, I was in East-West Center student affiliate program, and during the study period of master programs at the UH Manoa Art Department and living with East-West Center was really amazing moments in my life because I could learn about the ohana atmosphere and Hawaii cultures, and also it was really great chance to learn about diverse cultures and how to introduce my own cultures and how to respect the others' cultures as well. So my thoughts and my questions during the 3 years was, what is the relationship between Hawaii and Korea and how to represent it very well. And also, I didn't want to lose the identity as a Korean when I paint. So two things were major things I needed to consider. So for my thesis exhibition, I combined the 3 factors for the paintings. One is shijo. Shijo is a distinctive Korean poem format. It has a regulated format. And within that format, any words you can put it in and make a story. And for the colors, I tried to use 오방색 and 오간색 majorly, but I wanted to combine with Hawaiian sunset color, sunset and sunrise colors. So I'm gonna introduce the white color later, but for the white part, I tried to use really soft pastel colors of Hawaii's sky colors. And the last factor is Han. Han is Korean interpretation of bittersweet sorrow emotion, and this is really core emotion when you study Korean history or Korean cultures. But it's really difficult to understand how represented arts when many people learned Korean cultures in the first time. So I wanted to bring it too. So and for the subject matter, I focus about the rain first, many words in Hawaii. And I thought, oh, Korean has many words of the rain too. So it'll be really interesting when matching what kind of rain words matching well each other. So and folktale, Yobi is actually Korean folktales, and I use it as a metaphor about my three factors and the influences of Korea and Hawaii. Yobi, the direct translation is fox rain, and in English it's quoted as sun shower. The basic storyline is clouds love fox, but fox got married with tiger, so clouds cried during the wedding period, but suddenly he realized that, oh, wishing her happiness is the most important thing, so he stopped the cry and let her go. That is basic storyline. So Annie, would you show my painting slides? Thank you. Thank you. This painting called as 이슬비, and on the top parts there's a major dark parts on the top parts of the painting, and this represents as a clouds. So and the most of the backgrounds is forest where the wedding ceremony happened, and the clouds contains many emotions at once. So in the colors, when you mix every colors, it became more darker and darker and darker. So the clouds format as a dark pieces there, and resolving emotions happen there. In the case of the Han, it is brush strokes about it is dense stroke to top to bottom, bottom to top movements to resolve negative emotion to the positive emotion, like subliming. But in here, I use the brush strokes there. And even I use the color white as a color of Han, but I try to mix the soft pastel colors in of the Hawaii skies color. And the next painting would be the painting's background is more like contemporary of society, and you can see many of the more white colors than the previous painting. Because I wanted to bring the building structures, but I wanted and also sorry and also I wanted to represent reflection of the individual struggles, because the Han is more changed to individual rather than the nationwide bittersweet emotions. But each individual has their different negative emotions, but in big sides, big picture, the problem is almost same. So I wanted to embody with the color of white. I think this is for now. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me, so I can give an answer if I miss to explain it. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And
Mahalo, Mary.
I miss Hawaii so much. Mahalo.
We miss you too, Mary. Mahalo, mahalo
Mahalo.
again for your generous gift as well. And we'll take good care of our new friends here. And we wanted to honor Mary's beautiful paintings by activating them with performance. And so next, Hae In Lee, who's a current East West Center student and who is also a student in ethnomusicology at University of Hawaii at Manoa. She is going to talk about her piece that she's sharing with you that's inspired by Mary's works. So Hae In.
Thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this wonderful program. I haven't known Mary for about 2 years, and I was really excited to perform in front of her beautiful paintings. Since her theme of the paintings are rain, I wanted to connect my music and Korean traditional instrument gayageum with her artwork. And after talking with Mary, I decided to perform a piece entitled Soup, which means forest. Soup was composed in 1963 by one of the gayageum experts in Korea, Hwang Byung-ki. Originally, it has 4 movements, but you will hear only 3 of the movements, including kuku, rain, and moonlight. The kuku, 뻐꾸기 in Korean, represents one of the most well-known Korean traditional musical genre, sanjo, while mimicking the kuku sound. And the rain, P, is a program music in which renders an extra musical narrative musically with various musical textures. And lastly, moonlight, 달빛, leaves a tender and lasting memories. I hope you enjoy the music as well as the paintings. And I must say special thank you to the art team, and especially Nawa and her husband who helped me for the recording. Thank you.
Mahalo, Hae In. This piece runs about 9 minutes, so sit back and enjoy, please. Wonderful. Mahalo, Hae In, mahalo, Mary. I want to turn now to Navahine Lanzolati, our East West Center Arts Program Assistant. And I want her to share just a little bit about what she's working on and how we're activating the permanent collection to develop outreach programs and materials. So this has been a long time dream of mine, so I'm so thrilled that we have Navahine on the team now who's able to make it a reality. So Navahine, welcome.
Mahalo nui, aloha mai kako. It's my pleasure to share just a very brief bit about our outreach directions that we're taking this outreach. Just as you've seen from everything, to reiterate everything that has been filling this program today, we really are excited to get to invite students and keiki into these really amazing exchanges. They're thoughtful, and as Meleanna was mentioning, just so generous. These exchanges between artists and exchanges between artists who are international, who have each had a special experience, very transformative experience in Hawaii. And then also for our local Kama'aina artists to themselves give so much, but also have themselves these amazing transformative experiences. So it's really exciting. Through the outreach programs, we're getting to, with this collection, start developing out more and more resources to invite students into that creative process, that own their own experiences with what it means to connect to not only the many cultures that they come from, the many cultures of everyone around them, but new cultures, and also connect to the creative process that comes from us engaging with our surroundings. So we're really excited right now in developing like these place-based resources with creating our own, making new partnerships with local organizations who are doing so much around place-based curriculum to connect to the unique resources that are a part of the center, and that this collection and this exhibition really highlights. And so, just as a brief example before we close out, one of the places we started was Mary Kim's painting, because that was our newest acquisition, and it really highlighted that incredible transformative experience of taking a folk culture that she was familiar with, this tale from her own culture, and then the physical experience of that sun shower in Manoa, the Tuahine rain, that we all know for in Manoa. And so from that, we're able to take that and share that with students, share that story. We invited Hae In to come in and not only play for them and think about the rain and move with her, but also to share that story with them. And then, we get to invite the students into that process to think about the mo'olelo of their rain in their neighborhoods and how they respond to the rain around them, create their own poetry, create their own drawings. So this process of kilo that we know in Hawaii, which is through deep knowledge gained through deep observation, that we then ingest and digest. And so this is only a concept, for me personally, the word I only knew as I was older, but I recognized that process from growing up here, from my hula, from my instruction. And so this is what we know, that, each generation gets to build on the shoulders of the kupuna that come before them and the artists that come before them. So it's really incredible. Now we can do the same thing with the arts program, this collection, and all the generous artists that are a part of it. We're invite the students, we're inviting them into this process so that they can stand even taller. So, so much gratitude, big mahalo nui to all the artists who are part of this and to the rest of the arts team, my colleagues who are just so inspirational for making this happen. Mahalo for joining us.
Mahalo na wahine. We're so lucky to have you on the team too. Want to close, getting ready to close today, but before I do, I just wanted to say it really takes a team to make this work possible. So everybody who's contributed the art that's part of this collection, sharing their stories and their work with us, really, as Meleanna said, they're putting so much into that work when they're doing it, but also being in this space and really seeing, again, how the different pieces are speaking to one another. It's really just so incredible to be here and in this space. But I keep referring to we, and these projects just cannot happen with one singular person. It's really about everybody working together. And I want to give a special shout out to Marina George, who is our beloved East West Center student helper now. But in this exhibition, she is also the assistant curator and has been helping and doing such incredible work in terms of her research. Hi, Marina. We are sending you a virtual lei as well. But just has done incredible work and continues to do incredible work in terms of the research that she's doing and in just jumping in and reaching out to artists and reconnecting with artists and helping us with that, because one person can't do that. We're all trying to take the reins on that. So mahalo and congratulations on all your wonderful work, Marina.
Aloha from India, everybody. It's 6 a.m. in the morning, and it's wonderful to be here with you. Thank you so much, Annie, for everything you do.
Mahalo. And I also want to give a special shout out to Lynn Najita, who's responsible for the gallery installation and design. And she precedes me in the work here, and I'm learning so much from her. She's been working in this gallery. She worked first with Benji and then continued with Michael. And now she and I are working together, and it's incredible to work with her. And her knowledge of the gallery, her knowledge of the collection, and she really has such a deep knowledge of the collection. And special, we're going to put you on the spot. I know you like behind the scenes, but we're going to do it for once. But it's an honor to work with you, and your love for the collection and the center really comes through in your work. And it's an honor to work with you and to learn from you. And I'm learning so much, and coming in every day and working with you has been such a pleasure, and always with a smile and such positive energy and incredible knowledge and skills. So it's an honor to work with you, Lynn, as well. Aloha. We won't make you say anything. You can wave. With that, I want to close. We're going to be sharing this exhibition. It's bittersweet to not be able to open the doors to have people come into this gallery space. It was important to create this space, though, even though we're not able yet to open the doors. I do remain optimistic we'll be able to open before September physically, but we don't have the green light to do that yet. So what we'll be doing is sharing out feature stories about the artwork, the artists, the artist experience, and projects here at the East West Center each week. And we will also be having Sunday programs, our Sunday Spotlight series. So stay tuned and stay in touch. And mahalo for joining us this afternoon, and the work continues. So thank you so much. And thank you for all the presenters and everybody who's contributed to this project and beyond. Aloha.
Aloha, brilliant. Annie, thank you, and Eric and everybody involved.
Mahalo, mahalo.
Stay safe, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Mahalo nui loa.
Good job, Mama. Good job, Mama.
Good job, Mama.
Good job, Mama.
Hi, Marina. Hi, Mary.
Everyone, beautiful.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, alumna.
Aloha.
Thank
See
you,
you again.
everyone.
Thanks, Anne.
Mama. Mama.